This is Radio Romania International. You are listening to our one-hour broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Africa. We can also be heard on the internet at www.rri.ro, Channel 1. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and other social media platforms. Our programs are also available on TuneIn and via satellite Eutelsat 16A on 11,512 MHz vertical polarization, azimuth 16 degrees east. Symbol rate 29,950 megasymbols per second. Standard DVB as2. Modulation 8 PSK. Audio PID 510. We wish you good reception conditions.
Hello, I'm Ana Maria Popescu with the news. First, the headlines. Romania's trade balance deficit deepened in the first 8 months of the year by nearly 7.4 billion euros. The eastern Romanian city of Iași is hosting these days the traditional St. Parascheva pilgrimage, and Romanian champions Rapid and vice-champions CSM Bucharest won their respective matches in the Women's Handball Champions League. In the first 8 months of the year, Romania's trade balance deficit deepened by nearly 7.4 billion euros to 22 billion euros. According to data made public by the National Statistics Institute on Monday, exports went up 25% to 60.3 billion euros, and imports rose by 31% to roughly 83 billion euros. Vehicles and transport equipment, as well as other manufactured products, accounted for a large part of Romania's foreign trade. Over 70% of the total imports and exports involved the EU market. The northeastern Romanian city of Iași is hosting these days a traditional pilgrimage devoted to St. Parascheva, commemorated on the 14th of October and viewed as the patron saint of Moldavia. Thousands of Orthodox believers from around the country and from abroad have already come to pray at St. Parascheva's relics, hosted by the Metropolitan Cathedral. The Iași pilgrimage is the largest Orthodox pilgrimage in the country, with around 300,000 people expected to attend this year. We have more details after the news. Romania is better prepared to receive Ukrainian refugees, although there is no indication that their number may increase, the State Secretary with the Interior Ministry, Raed Arafat, said in Suceava, northeastern Romania. On Sunday, the Romanian official traveled to the Suceava hub for a donation ceremony also attended by the French ambassador to Bucharest, Laurent Soer, and the Ukrainian ambassador in Romania, Ihor Prokopchuk. 15 fire engines and ambulances were brought to the hub by 40 members of the French Civil Protection Agency, and further materials will reach Suceava in a few days. The largest French aid batch for Ukraine, consisting in over 1 ton of pharmaceuticals, foodstuffs and intervention vehicles, has reached the Black Sea port of Constanța Sudagica. Stay tuned for more details after the news. Several blasts were reported this morning in the Ukrainian capital city and in Lviv, Ternopil and Dnipro. The Romanian Foreign Minister Bogdan Aurescu announced that Romanian diplomatic staff in Kiev is safe, although a missile hit 850 meters from the Romanian embassy office. The Romanian official firmly condemns Russian missile strikes on civilian targets in Kiev and other Ukrainian cities as a blatant violation of international human rights law. Meanwhile, Russia's Security Council convenes today at President Vladimir Putin's request after Saturday's partial destruction of the Kerch Bridge connecting Russia to Crimea. According to Putin, this was a terrorist act committed by Ukraine. The Ukrainian authorities neither confirmed nor denied their involvement in the incident. In Washington, the White House declined comments on the topic and mentioned it would continue to supply weapons to Ukraine. Also today, the United Nations is holding an emergency session to discuss Russia's recent annexation of 4 other Ukrainian provinces. Radio Romania's correspondent in the U.S. mentions that the United Nations General Assembly condemned the annexation of Crimea in 2014. As of today, the Bucharest-Otopeni Airport is upgrading its baggage handling systems at the departures terminal, the Bucharest National Airport Company has announced. Until next August, the number of check-in counters will be significantly reduced and waiting times will be longer. The current baggage handling system is more than 20 years old and its replacement requires an over €20 million investment. After the works, the processing capacity will be 40% higher and 12 counters for passengers to drop off their own baggage without resorting to a check-in counter will be available, the company announced. European Union experts are assessing these days the veterinary services at the border checkpoints Stamora-Moravica in Timiș County on the border with Serbia and at the Bucharest-Aricoanda airport, the National Veterinary and Food Safety Agency announced. The assessment comes in the context of Romania's prospective Schengen area accession. The Czech presidency of the EU Council announced last week that in the December summit it will seek a unanimous decision on Romania's and Bulgaria's accession to the passport-free travel area. We end with sports. The Romanian team CSM Bucharest defeated the Dutch side Odense handballed 31-27 on Sunday away from home. In Group A of the Women's Handball Champions League, undefeated in 4 matches, the Romanian team is to play next at home on the 16th of October against DHK Baník Most. In turn, CS Rapid Bucharest won 34-32 against the Danish team Esbjerg in a home game on Sunday in Group B of the same competition. This was the 3rd win for the Romanian champions in the competition. Rapid will play next against Budapest Podgorica away from home on the 15th of October. And that was the news.